Have you been in one of those gatherings where people come and say, let's light the candle to center us? That is a way for us as Christians to remind ourselves that Christ is the light and Christ is in presence with us. Welcome to Bridge Builders, where we connect church lingo and culture with our faith, and hoping that this will help us grow in the understanding to live out our purpose. My name is Sung Soo Jun. You can call me RJ, and I'm grateful that you are here joining us today. Please subscribe and like this video and also connect with us so we can walk in this journey together. As I said, we're going to talk about candles. Why do we light candles? As you saw at Chuck No's church, candles was actually used not for the symbolism, but is used really because people needed some kind of light as they gathered. A lot of things that we easily forget is that Christianity was not the center of the world at the time that the Christians were gathering. So he talks about how when they are gathered on Sunday, which is a time of resurrection and remember Christ's resurrection of the world, and that's when the Christians gathered, it was not an official holiday. It was actually a day that people were working. So he said that the church had to meet, the gatherings at the time had to meet early in the morning or late at night. And in order for them to meet and to gather, that's where they needed a candle to light the area. But now with us worshiping normally at 11 o'clock on Sunday, and hopefully it's beyond that, and with all the great lighting that we have, the question is, why do we still need a candle in our gathering? As we sing the song, Light of the world, you came down into darkness, which is based on the biblical reference of Christ being the light unto the world that is dark, shining the light of God and shining the light of salvation. What we also remember how Christ and the light is needed for us that are trapped in darkness, but this Christ and the light through the candle reminds us of Christ's presence in us. So that's when we gather in worship, you will see in what we call the altar, and almost every church will have it. You'll have a cross and you'll have either, I had never saw a church that had one, and it might be me, but a lot of times churches will have two candles. And the imagery that you may have is during the time of worship that this candle should be lit. There are people in our church that we call altar guilds or our ushers who make sure that these candles, when they are oil candles, the oil is filled up so the candles will continue to be lit throughout the worship. It's important that the candle is lit because it is the presence of God. And if the presence of God goes out, what does it mean? That Christ is not there with us anymore? And we also have to remember when the candle is lit. Normally, the candle is lit when the worship is starting. So in traditional churches, you'll have an acolyte who will bring in the light of Jesus. That means that the light was out there in the world, and now as we are gathered, the light comes in and it lights the candle that are in the altar. And normally, like I said, there's two candles. There is a meaning for that. And both of them symbolizes the nature of Christ. As we talked about the hand signals, and remember that two natures, one nature is Christ being a full and perfect human, and the other nature is God and Christ being a perfect God. So both of those natures are lit that reminds us of Christ's presence in our lives. And what happens in our final song? In a lot of other churches, we'll have the acolyte come in and extinguish the light that is on the candle and transfer it into that altar candle rod. The acolyte will stand and wait for either the priest or the pastor to process out. And what that means is it is the presence of God now proceeding unto the world with God's people. So that light technically continues to be lit in us, symbolizing not only that the world needs this light, but also Christ's presence in our lives as we leave the time of worship. And that's why we use candles. It is beautiful, but it has a more beautiful meaning. And I hope that that helps us to grow deeper in acknowledging Christ's presence in our lives so we can carry this light unto the world.